I'd like to tell the story of how I became interested in Abraham Lincoln, and it happened in fifth grade in a class in Queens, New York, and we got an assignment to pick a name out of a hat. Literally, our teacher brought in a big hat filled with folded up pieces of paper with names, and we reached in, all of my friends and I reached in, and miraculously, I picked Abraham Lincoln. And my assignment, all of us had the same assignment, was to go upstairs to the middle school library on the third floor, find a book related to the person whose name we'd drawn from the hat, and write what we used to call a composition. I guess now we'd call it a brief essay or a paper about our subject. And I picked a wonderful book called The Lincoln Nobody Knows. I still remember, I hope you guys have had this experience where books in libraries have numbers on them. It's the old system for finding books, and mine was under 973. That's American Biography. And I picked The Lincoln Nobody Knows, and I was just immediately gripped by this wonderful book. Not only did I write an essay that got an A, but I later got to meet the author, Richard Current, who lived to be 101 years old. And I think that all people who write about Lincoln should live to be 101 years old. But the truth is that after reading that book, it was the beginning of the Civil War centennial, the 100th anniversary of all the things that happened during the American Civil War. Emancipation, the Gettysburg Address, the battles of the war. I was 12 years old when it started, and I began to become so interested in those recreations. And I followed them all for the next 5 years, and I've never looked back. Let me tell you one thing about how history can meet current events and have a real impact. At the beginning of the centennial, all of the members of the Civil War Centennial Commission, these were the folks who were organizing all of the anniversary events, met for the first meeting of this recreation 4 years. And of course, it was at, I hope you know where the Civil War began, Charleston, South Carolina. All of a sudden, we read that President Kennedy, who was someone who made me very interested in politics at the time, told the commission they could not meet in the hotel that they had chosen. Why? Because the commission had a Black member, an African-American woman, who was not allowed to stay at this hotel. It was segregated. And President Kennedy announced that no one would be allowed to stay at this hotel, that all of the commissioners would meet instead at a federal army base in Charleston. So you see, the Civil War Centennial not only stirred my interest in history, it stirred my interest in the incomplete Civil War. The fact that African Americans were still considered second-class citizens in many parts of our country, that the struggle continued. And as you read about history today, I hope you'll know that you have your work cut out for you to complete the work of Abraham Lincoln and everyone else who fought for freedom and democracy. Thank you.